Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Mindful Meditations. My name is Allison Barnett and I'm coming to you live from my living room here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My husband and I own Patina Gallery here in Santa Fe, and we opened the gallery 20 years ago with the intention of showing world-class jewelry and fine craft. And we've been successful in doing that for 20 years, and we certainly hope to be. And we're coming to you live from our living room, as most of us are still sheltered at home. Today's meditation will be about one of my favorite artists in the gallery, whose name is Peter Schmid. As I said last week, for those of you who tuned in or who haven't yet, I'm referring to these as mindful meditations on art jewelry, because when you meditate, you release love and feel-good hormones, and who doesn't need a dose of that right now? And the word seems appropriate for Peter because a few years ago, he published a book called Love. So Peter Schmid lives in Germany, and he was born in 1971, and he's been a goldsmith for 25 years, and he's owned Atelier Zobel in Constance, Germany for 15 years, and he's one of my closest friends. And of all of the artists in the gallery, we've had more solo exhibitions for him than any other artist. And one of the appeals of his work, and I'm wearing his pieces, is the way that he works metal. I really like to refer to him as an alchemist. He loves to work in silver and gold and platinum and palladium, and then he brings surprising and glorious gemstones and minerals and artifacts to his pieces. And the alchemy is when he brings it all together to make these really exquisite pieces of jewelry. So I'm going to turn the table so you can see the pieces that I have in front of me. And I am wearing a few magical pieces like this new bracelet. I don't know if you can see it with the way the light's coming in. Just playing with color and oxidized surfaces with gold and diamonds. But let me turn the table so we can see what we have in front of us. So here, I'm going to talk about what's in front of me right now, because a few years ago, Peter had a happy accident in his studio. And what we see here, it's very graphic. It has a very Japanese appeal to it. This dark sort of graphite color is palladium. And he had a happy accident in the studio where the palladium got burned or charred. And he realized that this would be a whole new way of working the metal. So he has this very sort of Asian graphite and graphic, like he's drawing all over the surface. And then a line of diamonds. And the way that he, that alchemy of the silver with the palladium coming all together. And then the drop of this stone, which is actually glass. And you can see that the way the light reflects through it. He set it just along the perimeter. So you really see the light coming through and the surprise of color coming through. That is fully detachable. So you can just wear the earring top alone. He's using that same patterning technique in this ring here, and really zen and really beautiful. They create almost like a shield on the finger, and you can see some of the rings that I'm wearing. These are also Peter's, and they belong to me. I have 4 of his rings. They're all quite magical and so different. But you can see this beautiful graphic quality. And then sometimes he'll just work in this wonderful field of silver that he's oxidized. And then just the juxtaposition of these diamonds. Diamonds don't need to be large. They're about 1 point each, but they're fully cut and they're fully faceted. There's something wonderful about Peter's curiosity as he's in the world. He travels extensively, and he's not afraid to use unusual material. In these necklaces here, we have diamonds. This one has beautiful cubes of diamonds. They are cut and faceted cubes, and they're natural color. And then he has high carat gold, Nepalese gold, alternating with the diamonds. And then these ancient beads in the back, they're silver beads from hill tribes, some of them hill tribes in China, and that he's oxidized, so you have the contrast of the diamond and the gold and the silver. This bracelet, he's doing that beautiful alchemy again of 24 karat over the silver. He's keeping the silver very pure in its color. And then this contrast, and it's not perfect. You wouldn't want it to be, because it's more sort of zen and more interesting with this texture of gold in each of these squares. And there's a story to be told for each piece and how he does it and why he does it. And then we have these autumnal diamonds. If you look at the way that a piece of his is made, it's really solid. He's got this edging that he puts onto the bracelets. So they're really sturdy. And when you walk into a room when you're wearing a piece of Peter's, people will take notice because of the way that he has, he's not afraid of scale. It's that curiosity and the courage to play with pattern and the way he juxtaposes stones. These earrings are quite beautiful. It's a Mabe pearl, Tahitian Mabe pearl. And then coming right off the tip of this pearl, he has black diamonds going from large to small. And just this hint, it's like sand that's sweeping across the shoreline. It's platinum over silver, and they're really quite beautiful, and they're so poetic in his use of material. When you come to some of the pieces here, this is a new piece with moonstone, and he's echoing the circle of the moonstone in this spray of gold. I always think of Gustav Klimt when I look at Peter's works. It's the way that the gold sort of bubbles to the surface, and then again echoing another circle with these surface set diamonds. And some of the diamonds are white, some of them have a little bit of color and character, but again, the way that these pieces frame the finger, and they are like shields. I know I already have several wings on. And then there's a cat's eye in this moonstone. The stones are sometimes really prized gemstones that he's using. Sometimes it's just an interesting material like this pebble. So in this necklace here, we have basically a necklace made of beautiful pebbles. They've been worn. You and I might walk right past them, but for Peter, he takes great interest in picking up a found stone. And then what's fabulous about this piece is that he's made this clasp. It's called a vario clasp. It's fully detachable from the piece. And here he's using that wonderful burned and charred palladium with the silver and the spiral of these diamonds that are surface set. And this comes off, so you can add a different clasp. For example, this pearl piece here, we have luscious Tahitian pearls. And he has a completely different clasp on this one, which is interchangeable with the other. This clasp, he's using, again, the gold and the platinum over the silver. But he's so curious about pattern. It's from all of his travels, whether he's looking out the window from a hotel high up in Manhattan, or he's in Morocco or in China, wherever he is, he's picking up on ideas about pattern and lacquering techniques that he learned, Japanese lacquer techniques. He actually got a scholarship to study that years ago. When you look at a ring like this ring is all gold, and he's got a stone that's been cut by friends of his from Eder Oberstein in Germany. This is a Munsteiner cut tourmaline, and it may be hard to see it, but there's actually a cut on the underside of the stone. And Peter is trying to be mindful of using that cut in the way he's echoing these diamonds that are coming off on either side. We have pink diamonds in this field of 18 and 22 karat gold. And the shape of the stone, it's not perfectly round. It's very slightly coming to a point on the side. And if I turn it over, you might be able to see these cuts on the back side of the ring that are the famous Munsteiner cuts. When you look at a piece like this, we had an exhibition years ago in the gallery, and it had to do with an opera that had come to Santa Fe called The Pearl Fishers. So this is an old Zobel piece with a fantastic mother of pearl. This piece was made when a circus had come to town, and there was actually two pieces in the series. And you can see that Peter is not afraid to use to work on a large scale and really express himself. And you can see that effect of the sun, the soleil, with the 22 karat and the spray of 24 karat, and this line of diamonds here, a line of diamonds there. This piece can be worn as a brooch or as a pendant. And just the way that the light reflects off of that mother of pearl, and then the echoing of the shape in the silver and the gold, it all really comes together. And I love that he's not afraid to work in such a large scale here. This is an exquisite bracelet. Again, exploring pattern, maybe even botanicals. And the diamonds don't need to be large again. They are surface set diamonds. They're fully cut, 1 point each. And the contrast of that 24 karat set against the oxidized silver is so stunning. You can really see that Peter and the wonderful men and women who are in his workshop in Constance really have a great sensibility for pattern and juxtaposition of color, and always a surprise in store for us. This piece has a very zen and beautiful feeling to it. It's a Tahitian pearl with diamonds, and it's like throwing a pebble in the water, and the ripple effect of throwing that pebble in, and the surprise of these lines. This technique of fusing the gold to the silver was one that was really started by Zobel 50 years ago. That's how long the studio has been open. And just, again, the play of light and color and that ripple effect. This is a solid ring, the way that he's wrapped the gold around the top of the ring and the solid shank in the back of the oxidized silver. This piece here was a piece that Peter made probably 25 years ago when he was first apprenticing at the Zobel atelier. And it has an emerald set in a field of lapis mosaic. And this was a piece where Peter really had to prove his skills as a goldsmith and as a metalsmith. He has this fantastic stripe technique. And again, something so beautiful and poetic about the way that the lines blend and merge, get wide and get small and come together. There's something sort of tribal and African about it. And then he has this mosaic of lapis coming at an angle to the way he's done the striping on the gold and the silver. And then you can see a hint of that pattern right behind this gorgeous emerald. And it's just the unusual play and juxtaposition and the courage for Peter to really be mindful and think about the placement of the stones and how the stones are all going to interact. Some people call him the stone whisperer because he really holds the stone in his hand and he thinks about what it wants to be and where it wants to go. And he's like the Michelangelo of jewelry. And if you're an earnest collector of art jewelry, you definitely want to have a piece of Peter Schmid's in your collection. The time that he invests in making, the time that he's already invested as an artist in our wonderful field, and all the attributes of him as a metalsmith are what really bring him to light for me as such a close friend. The last piece I'll talk to you about is this beautiful stone. I don't know if you can see the light in this stone. It is a labradorite, and the light may not be right here, but it's surrounded in beautiful diamonds, all set in 22 karat, but he's got it on a shank of silver that he's oxidized. And it stands high on the finger. It has a lot of presence on the finger. And so I'm so glad that everyone has joined me today for this talk about Peter Schmid, one of my dear friends. We are hoping to have an exhibition for him this summer, and we hope he will come back to Santa Fe and that he will be allowed to return to Santa Fe to visit with us. And if you're tuning in now, we've been talking about the work of Peter Schmid of Atelier Zobel and all the courage that it takes for him to make these exquisite pieces of art jewelry. So I hope that you will join us if you're coming to Santa Fe this summer. We'd love to see you so you can see his pieces firsthand when he comes in August for, I believe, his 18th or 19th summer exhibition in Santa Fe. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you'll join me next week when we explore the work of another favorite artist at Patina Gallery, whose name is Claire Kahn. Tune in next week or visit us online. You can find all of Peter's pieces on our website at patina-gallery.com, and we are on social media as well, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.